He acquired forward Jonathan Perez from the LA Galaxy yesterday. Perez originally was on loan with NSC and now have him permanently through the 2028 season. In exchange, Nashville have given $1.5 million to the Galaxy with potential incentives based on player performance. In college football, Vanderbilt Commodores quarterback Diego Pavia is set to make north of $2 million this season. The Commodores kick off their season at First Bank Stadium, hosting Charleston Southern next Saturday.
For more, log on to theGameNashville.com. Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan.
Football Friday is the best high school football coverage going, and it's presented by Wilson Bank and Trust, your trusted local bank since 1987. By Josh Houston and Associates, a one-source scholastic experience. By Star Physical Therapy, committed to serve. And by Metro Nashville Police Department, serving Nashville with pride. And now, let's get to the action. Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. It is a beautiful Friday, and I'll tell you part of the reason it's beautiful. The high school football season begins tonight. Hard to believe the college football season begins tomorrow. We are on Billy's campus, Father Ryan, in the Champions Room. This is obviously a room you never were in.
No, we didn't win many basketball or baseball state titles, but we had a few lunches and team meetings in there, I'll say.
Yeah, I bet that was interesting. Anyway, this is former LSU Tiger quarterback, former Tennessee Titan quarterback, and now the head coach at Father Ryan. Zach Mettenberger joins us. How you doing?
Hanging in there. How you guys doing?
Good. So you play Overton tonight, but before we get into any of that, kind of tell people the career path once you left the Titans that have you now being a head coach.
It was long. So I went from the Titans to Chargers for off season, got picked up by Steelers for 2016 season. And before you know it, my NFL career is over after that year. Tried to hold on to the dream as long as possible and play in alternative leagues and try to get, some type of opportunity to get back in. And it just, wasn't in the cards. So when I got done playing, I was rather bitter with the sport of football. So few people get to end on their terms. And, I felt like I still had more to give, but it just wasn't for me. So from there, I tried my best at medical sales, insurance sales, and was just not having a good time with it. And 2020, I got a great opportunity to coach at Hillsboro. And I guess the rest is rock and roll history, as they say. I've been at this for 5 years. Went from Hillsboro to Father Ryan, Alabama, now back at Father Ryan, and couldn't be happier.
Yeah, so you have gone the typical coach's path in that you've got all these different stickers and you got all these different license plates from places. Has coaching been what you thought it was?
It's been everything and more. I took so much pride and joy in playing the game of football, but I even have more pride and joy watching these guys execute the vision on Friday nights. It truly is a special thing when you're coaching a kid up and talking about something on Tuesday, and there's no way they're going to remember that Friday night. And sure enough, when they remember it and execute it on Friday night and see them have the success that they want, man, it's the best feeling in the world.
Talk to me about a couple, 3 coaches that are probably in your tree that you've taken something from to be Zach Mettenberger, Father Ryan.
Man, there's too many to just say 3. It goes all the way back to high school. Had a great coordinator, Justin Barnes, who's actually a coordinator at Riverdale. We'll play him next week. Somebody who's been in my corner, from very early on. From there, Mike Bobo at Georgia, guy who taught me how to throw a football, with my mom being the secretary for the football staff there. Somebody who's, always been there for me, and a guy that I can call at any time to get, any type of advice. From there, LSU, Cam Cameron, Steve Crackthorpe, great coaches, learned a lot from. And then NFL really, really, me and Coach Wisenhunt, we gelled well, and we worked well together, and learned a tremendous amount from him in my short time with the Titans. And there's been a ton of influential people, in my life and coaching and as a player. And I'd be remiss to say, Nick Saban doesn't have an influence on that as well. Didn't play for him, but working under him for 2 years, you see the method to the madness, and you see why he's had so much success. And all I'm trying to do is take the good things that I've learned from everybody, and also the bad things, and try to fit it to myself, and be authentic to myself, and not try to be the next Nick Saban or the next Ken Wisenhunt. I'm just trying to be Zach Mettenberger.
Whatever alumni pressure there may be in this job, pay no attention to him until he starts giving big bucks. Pay no attention. Billy, talk about your alma mater.
Yeah, Coach, obviously there's a lot of proud alums that want this program to succeed and want this program to do well. How have you felt that? You've been here before, you had a stint here earlier, left, now you're back. What's this community mean to you, and how have you, I'm sure you've learned a ton about this community.
That's the greatest thing about Father Ryan is our community is not talk. You know what I mean? We truly mean what we say when we're going to be here and support you no matter what you choose to do in life. And I really resonate with that and identify with that because, it just takes one person in a young person's life to change the trajectory. And, man, we got a lot of people here that are invested in, not only football, but all of our athletics, all of our programs, all of our academics. It truly is a special place to be.
All right, I got to ask about your quarterback situation. Obviously, the original starter, Hayden Yandel, got banged up in one of the scrimmages. Looks like Caden Dixon is going to go tonight. What can you say about both those guys, but Caden in particular, who's a transfer?
We hadn't named a starter. Both those guys were competing throughout the summer, and unfortunately, sometimes the football gods are unfair and unjust. And it's a tough situation for Hayden, but Caden has made himself ready through the competition. I know he's only been here a short time, but I think he's going to make his mark on the Father Ryan football history.
All right, this Overton game, historically, George just talked about it. It feels like they play every year. I know there's been some years where Overton doesn't come here or Father Ryan doesn't go to Overton. But what have you gleaned from the history of this matchup? Because this used to be one that was special and was packed back in the day.
Yeah, my girl Miss Aiken up at the front. What was it? The Johnny O Rodeo? Wasn't that the whole deal? And
George probably knows better than me. I don't go back as far as he does.
Well, I'll tell you this: when Rick Region and I kept the Clinic Bowl alive for an extra 5 years, BGA was one of those matchups, BGA Franklin. But I want to say 2011 or 12, we matched up Father Ryan and Overton over at Overton. That's how much we thought of the rivalry. But when you go back to your grandfather, Bill Derrick and Nick Koutras, who obviously I have family ties with, listen, that was one of the 2 or 3 most anticipated games in Nashville when I was growing up. There's your little history lesson.
And hopefully we can get back to that, someday. But we're just focused on tonight, going out and executing, and hopefully getting the win.
Last thing I've got, this region is unbelievably talented, obviously, as you know. How have you seen the talent grow, since you even got here, your first year at Father Ryan? It feels like this state and this area in particular is just blown up.
Yeah, I think it just goes with the city, right? There's a lot of people moving in, and Nashville's an attractive place for people in the state of Tennessee to want to get noticed for their prospective sport. I like to tell people, D2 AAA is like the SEC. I mean, every week is a grind. Every game is worth something. There's no cupcakes, and you can't overlook anybody. It does present challenges when, a lot of teams we play have a lot of guys going to play big-time college football. Hopefully we can develop and build our program to have that type of talent one day. But, at the end of the day, I think everybody knows talent's just a piece of the puzzle. Toughness, grit, and overcoming adversity always leads to success. And that's something that we've always tried to implement in our students here.
Zach, appreciate you taking the time. I know you've got to get elsewhere on a game night, but when it's all over, take a look at the next 5-6 minutes, because I'm going to go through a little history of Father Ryan football that you might not even know.
And I probably don't. I mean, I'm new to the community, but no, I love the history of this place. There's a proud tradition here, and that's again, that's our calling card, is the rich tradition that we have. We just we're looking to build on that.
Thanks for coming on here.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Coach.
Zach Mettenberger is the head football coach at Father Ryan, and here's what he may or may not know, Billy. So in Father Ryan's past, if we look outside now, there's this beautiful stadium on campus. Well, it wasn't always that easy at Father Ryan.
No.
Among the places they played, I didn't know this one until about 30 minutes ago. They played at Sulphur Dell going back into the 1920s. I didn't know that. They played at West End Junior High, where a BGA football team led by Rob Fessmeyer snapped a 30-game Father Ryan winning streak on a Friday night in October of 1975. So I know a lot about West End Junior High. Then they played at Greer Stadium, where I actually did radio on a little small AM, WKDA, 1240 at the time on the AM dial. Later, they played at Vanderbilt Stadium. And finally, before they got their own digs, they played at Bellevue Middle School. Now, you're going to get a good laugh out of this, because this has been basically 40 years ago. This film footage that we're about to show you was uncovered by my buddy Chris Koutras, whose father was the legendary Overton football coach, Nick Koutras. This is somewhere in the early 80s. I want to say 84, 85, can't swear to it. This is Viacom. This is before Comcast. This is the Viacom high school football game of the week. It's me on play-by-play. It's Nick Koutras on color. I think he had retired at that point after a stint at Cumberland University. And I think Duncan Stewart is down on the sidelines. Listen in.
It's very important, but I think what's more important is senior leadership. You can have seniors on your football team that have played for several years, but they've got to provide your leadership, and this is what I'm seeing on the sideline and on the field. I'm seeing leaders out here. They're pushing one another, pulling for one another, and that's the most important. Not the experience, but the leadership that your top class provides.
Hey, Nick, this Father Ryan team, how would they stack up against the two teams we saw last week?
I think that Father Ryan would match up very good against either club that we saw last week. Ryan is a power football team, and in turn, their defense is also going to be tougher simply for the fact that they're facing a running attack in practice. I think that Ryan would do very well against either club that we saw last Friday night. I think they'd stand a good chance of beating them.
Interesting.
Fourth down. And
Yeah, fourth down.
Interesting.
Somebody needs to punt.
Nick Koutras.
Yeah,
Man,
again,
that's a blast from the past.
Yeah. The other one that got sent to me that is absolutely hilarious. I have no idea where Chris Koutras uncovered these, but there is a stand-up open that he sent me where Father Ryan is playing at White's Creek. And, we weren't in coat and tie. It wasn't all that professional. And I'm in this jacket, like a windbreaker kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it is hilarious. Glasses that I was wearing looked like they were sponsored by Coca-Cola. They were a little on the large side.
Back in the Stone Ages.
Oh my God. Anyway, we thought you'd enjoy that. So we're kicking it off, hopefully in style, Football Friday. After the break, George Robinson from the Tennessean will join us. There are two games that stand out above all of them for week one. The first one is Pearl Cone MBA, which has been a traditional opener in recent years. The other is CPA going to Murfreesboro, Oakland. We'll talk about those and more when we come back. This is Football Friday on 94.9 The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
A golf cart from Mikey's Motors is the perfect way to get around this summer. Whether you're going to the park, the pool, or the playground, do it in a brand new golf cart from Mikey's Motors, Franklin and Murfreesboro.
Summertime fun in Tennessee. That's what we sell at Mikey's Motors. Come see how we roll.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me. The Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling. They enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
At Wilson Bank & Trust, we believe you shouldn't have to choose between personal service and digital solutions. As your local independent bank, we're proud to offer the relationships and trusted service you expect, along with the tools and technology that keep you moving forward. So whether you're growing a business, buying a home, or planning for the future, we're here to help. Because this isn't just where we work, it's where we live too. Wilson Bank & Trust, here to get you there. Member FDIC.
Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com. Okay, we are back on this Friday afternoon. A little bit of a milestone here in the Friday afternoon because it's Football Friday. It's the beginning of the high school football season. And yes, we're at Father Ryan High School. In the Champions Room, they take on Overton later tonight. George Robinson from the Tennessean will be with us throughout the season. George, good to have you back as always.
Good to be back. Good to hear your voice, you and Billy, and hope everybody had a good off season and ready to get right back into it now.
You know, next week when college football really kicks off, week 1 has a schedule that's way better than normal. And on the high school front, it feels like you got 2 games that are going to kind of run above the rest of them. And let's start with those 2. Pearl Cone, NBA. They've been playing in the first week now for a good while. George, this ought to be a terrific football game.
I think so too. Yeah. You know, they kicked off last year's. They played in week 1 last year, and of course that was a memorable game because NBA ended up winning it in dramatic fashion after they had to put in their freshman quarterback, who played from much of that game after Hugh Price got injured. And of course, Hugh Price is the big 6'5", 180-pound quarterback that NBA has. He's a Southern Miss commit. He's got a strong arm. He injured his collarbone in that game, ended up missing most of the regular season. I think he came back for maybe the last 4 games of the season. But Pearl Cone ended up putting that freshman in there, and he ended up scoring late in that game, and they ended up beating Pearl Cone. Of course, Pearl Cone was coming off that 4A state championship in 2023. So, yeah, this is going to be a good game. Hugh Price is healthy now. He's back. Pearl Cone's going to have to figure out a way to slow him down. But Pearl Cone just continues to reload. They lost a lot from last year. They had a lot of talent that ended up graduating last year. But they come back with their own quarterback, LJ Funk. They got a really good transfer from, I think it was Brentwood Academy, Arquez Fontenot, who's gotten a lot of Power 4 or Power 5 interest. I think it's going to be it's a great way to start the season with that kind of matchup.
George, it also has this tone of Metro Nashville public school versus private school, and the public schools, they don't get the attention that they used to get. They don't get anywhere near the attention that the private schools do. Is there a little bit of a chip on Pearl Cone's shoulder of we're the public school trying to take down a big boy?
Yeah, I mean, you could say that. I do think probably out of all of the public schools in Nashville, Pearl Cone has probably received the lion's share of the attention when it comes to Nashville public schools, and particularly Metro Nashville schools. Them in East Nashville. But that's a testament to Coach Tony Brunetti at Pearl and Coach Damian Harris at East Nashville, that they've been able to, field teams that were not only competitive, but were competitive across the state. These teams are going to the playoffs every year. East Nashville went to, I believe, 2 straight or maybe 3 straight state championship games in Class 3A. They've moved down to 2A this year, and they're going to be a favorite among the 2A schools to get back to Chattanooga. But Pearl, like I mentioned, they were the 2023 4A state champs. Coach Brunetti's coached in 4 state title games. So it's a testament to their ability to not only develop talent, but keep that train rolling. But yeah, I mean, you're right. In essence, there is a large gap between a lot of the private schools in Nashville and in Nashville area, and a lot of the public schools in the city. You just get that. That's kind of what this day and age is now. A lot of the private schools are going to get some of the best athletes, because they can sort of, those athletes and those parents can sort of pick and choose where they want to go. And, you're talking about CPA that, I mean, what other private school? There's few private schools in the state, with the exception of maybe 3 or 4 that have had as much success as CPA has had over the past decade. We're talking 7 straight state championships in Division II, AA. They won the last 2 state titles in that classification. Now they move up to D2 AAA. I know they didn't want to. They didn't want the TSSAA to move them up in classification, but they are, and they're in the, what I consider arguably the toughest, the toughest classification in the state, maybe outside of Class 6A. So it's going to be really interesting to watch both teams kind of progress through the year. I think, Pearl Cone is a team that we'll be talking about in December. CPA will probably be a team we're talking about in December as well. So, for those 2 teams to play each other first game of the season says a lot about both of those programs. A lot of public schools don't want to play those private schools. And so a lot of times private schools have trouble scheduling, finding teams that want to play them. But Pearl, Coach Bernetti and Pearl, they don't really back down to anybody. They'll play, they're a 4A school, but they'll play 5A, they'll play 6A, they'll play D2 AAA. They don't care. They'll line it up against anybody.
So is Oakland, in your mind, the clear-cut best team in this state?
Not clear-cut. I think Baylor would have something to say about that. I do think those 2 teams are probably 1-2. You could probably, depending on week to week, you could probably switch one for the other in that number 1 spot. I know that in our Super 25 poll, preseason poll that came out this week, we had Baylor number 1. And also our statewide poll, we got a new, the USA Today Network is working in conjunction with the Tennessee Sports Writers Association to put out a statewide high school football rankings, per class. Our Super 25 poll is just 25 of the best teams, regardless of classification. But I know Oakland's number 1 in the statewide poll. And I think they may be number 2 in the Super 25 poll. So, between them and Baylor, I think those are the 2 of the clear cut. You look at Oakland and they have Craig Tutt, who is a Mr. Football finalist last year. They also got Joel Wyatt, who's the number 2 ranked player in the state, according to 24/7 Sports composite, that recruiting site. He's the number 2 ranked player in the state. He's a Tennessee commit. And he just transferred from Webb School, Bell Buckle, over here to Oakland. So he makes them, they were already going to be good. They were already going to be 6A favorites. And then to get that kid, Joel Wyatt, just kind of solidifies that for Oakland in 6A. I think they're the team to beat. That doesn't mean there isn't teams that can beat them. I think Ravenwood's going to be really, really good this year. They got over 40 plus seniors coming back. That's an incredible amount of senior leadership coming back for a Ravenwood team that went to the 6A semifinals last year. I think they could give Oakland a run for their money. There's going to be some good 6A teams at Germantown, out of Memphis. Like I said, there's going to be some good 6A teams that give Oakland a run for their money. But right now, if you kind of had to pin it on me to make a decision, I would probably say Baylor 1, Oakland 2, or maybe Baylor 1A and Oakland 1B.
George, always a pleasure talking to you. CPA has got a chance to make a big statement tonight as they travel to Oakland and as they move up a region. And it's going to be really interesting. They may have the toughest high school schedule in the country. If anybody's taking a look at that schedule, go take a look at CPA's schedule. They're ramping it up a little bit this season. And it's going to be interesting tonight. There's a lot of talent on the field and a lot of state titles between those 2 coaches, Ingle Martin and Kevin Creasy. Between those 2, 13 state titles. So not too shabby for those 2 coaches. And a guy I want to talk about and who is going to be fun to watch all season, he was fun to watch last year, is not on the Oakland side, but the CPA side, Rawls Patterson. He leads their rushing attack, younger brother, of course, Kane and Langston Patterson, who both played at Vanderbilt. His numbers in the state title last year, I don't know if you've heard this, George. I'm sure you did. 336 rushing, 4 touchdowns on 27 carries. He just ran wild. He's going to be fun to watch this year, George.
He's going to be really fun to watch. And I saw that game, and I saw how effective he was running the ball. You bring up a lot of good points. I mean, CPA, they do have a brutal schedule. I think it's going to help them. I think CPA fans are probably going to have to be a little bit patient this year. Their record's it's probably not going to look as great as it has in years past. But, really the object is to have that team prepared when November hits and the playoffs hit. So, and they're going to have moving up to D2 AAA, like I've said before, the toughest, classification in the state, in my opinion, to be able to run that gauntlet in that classification in the playoffs, they're going to need to be prepared for that. And this schedule that Ingle Martin has put together will help them do that. Now, they may take the lumps, during the regular season, but they're going to be really good come playoff time. And I think they're going to be a team that people are going to watch out for. Now, I don't have them penciled in as a prediction of winning the state title in D2 AAA, but give Ingle Martin time, and he'll be right back in that state championship game in the coming years. But yeah, Ross Patterson has just been fantastic. He's been fantastic since he's been there. Like you said, he comes from good stock. I mean, he's got two older brothers that have gone on to play college football. There's a younger Patterson that plays linebacker, who's probably one of the better linebackers in Middle Tennessee. So, that Patterson bloodline, it's pretty rich and it goes deep. And Rawls is just the next in line in out of that group.
Speaking of bloodlines, the Hasselbeck family gets things rolling for year two tonight as Ensworth hosts Whitehaven, and Taylor Hasselbeck returns at quarterback. He's committed to Wyoming, and he's guiding his dad's offense for a second straight year. They've also got a lot of talent around him. Minnesota commit Justin Hopkins leads that secondary that doesn't have a whole lot of holes there. And they are replacing some guys up front on defense, though. It'll be interesting to see how they contain West Virginia commit as George plays something on his phone.
Shut up, Billy.
West Virginia commit running back Christopher Talley. That's going to be a good matchup tonight.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of that. You don't see a lot of Memphis public schools coming to play Nashville area private school. That's a little bit of an interesting twist. I like it. I love those kind of schedules. I think it's I think it's creative scheduling. I think it generates a lot of interest across the state instead of just in one section of the state. We can sit here and talk all day about Middle Tennessee football, and we will during the course of the season. But it's interesting to kind of get those teams from West Tennessee or East Tennessee. I remember last year Ravenwood went over to Alcoa last year, and beat Alcoa. Alcoa's won, they won 10 straight state championships in 3A, and now they're moving up to 4A. But Ravenwood went over there to Alcoa last year in East Tennessee and came away with a win against one of the more storied football programs in the state over the past 25 years. So, I like those kind of matchups. I like seeing them. I like watching them. It's not often that Nashville area fans get to see a Memphis, school play, or a very, very good Whitehaven team that's ranked in 6A. For the preseason, and Ensworth, like you said, Taylor is back and he's running his dad's offense, his uncle's offense, and so it's going to be really interesting to watch those two teams play. I think there's a lot of expectations for Ensworth to really do well. Like you said, they've lost some guys up front, but it's on the defensive end, particularly with the graduation of Ethan Utley, but. They're still going to be really, really good. And this is a really good early season test. And I got to say, this is one of the more competitive first week high school football games that I can remember in a while.
I'm with you. That's a lot of talent on the field for that one. Speaking of talent, Jared Curtis and Nashville Christian travel to Davidson Academy. This one's not going to be easy. For Nashville Christian, they do have a ton of talent, and I think something big for them. We know about Jared Curtis and the talent he's got. They've got a really good running back on that team with him as well. TJ Ward, a TCU commit who was not eligible last year, had to sit out. And man, that just adds to a state title team in Nashville Christian this year. And it's interesting. We don't typically talk about Nashville Christian. I'm not ragging on them, but that's not a program, at least before Jared Curtis. And maybe you can say otherwise, George, if they were good back in your day. But yeah, at least when I've been alive and before Jared Curtis got there, we weren't talking a whole lot about Nashville Christian. And all of a sudden we are.
Yeah, that's fairly accurate. Really, to be honest, Jeff Brothers was where most of the attention was because he was a former Vandy quarterback. He was a Vandy quarterback when I did some games there. And that was most of it until Jared Curtis.
That guy right there, yeah.
Yeah. Nashville Christian, I'd probably say around I want to say around 2010, 2009, 2010, 2011, somewhere around there. I remember they had, a pretty good football team. This was back when I was covering almost exclusively high school sports up in Clarksville at the Leaf Chronicle, the newspaper up there. And Clarksville Academy was in there. I guess back then, I think they called them districts. I think that's back when the days when we used to have football districts instead of football regions. But Clarksville Academy was in that same district region as Nashville Christian. And they had, I remember one year they had, on the defensive side, they had 2 Power 5 kids. And I think a third one ended up going Power 5. They were really good then, and then they had a bit of a drop off, in terms of talent. But yeah, I mean, since Jared's been there, they've just really taken off, and obviously a lot of that has to do with Coach Brothers and the program that he's put together there. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting first game for them as well. Like you said, Davidson Academy. Coached by the legendary Jonathan Quinn. He's won, I think, 4 or 5 state titles himself. That's not going to be an easy task for Nashville Christian. I know they come in as the odds-on favorite to win the state title in D2 Single A. I think they'll do it eventually. But it wouldn't shock me at all to see Davidson Academy maybe pull off a week 1 upset. And man, what an upset it would be to knock off Georgia commit and the nation's number 2 quarterback in Jared Curtis. Now, I don't think it's going to happen, but Davidson Academy is just dangerous enough to pull it off. I saw Nashville Christian during a couple of their scrimmages during the preseason, and they're not. They should be in midseason form tonight.
Yeah, that's a physical football team right there.
Very physical, and like you said, TJ Ward, he just adds to that. The TCU commit, he just adds to that because he's such a good football player, and he'll take some pressure off of Jared. They won't have to rely on Jared's arm. They're still going to throw the ball a lot, but they're not going to have to rely solely on Jared. He had a lot of rushing yards. He's put a lot of miles on those legs over the past 3 years. So with TJ back there, he's probably not going to have to do as much running, even though he's a dual threat quarterback, as he has in the past. So, TJ's he's going to factor in big time on that offense.
George, you're a good man. Appreciate you putting up with us for a 3rd year. Thanks for the opening day update, and we'll check back in with you next Friday.
It is my pleasure. I appreciate you guys, and always enjoy talking with you guys, talking high school football.
Looking forward to it. Week, I don't know. Do we call this week 1 or
week 1? Yeah.
Week 1? Whatever the case, it's the opening weekend. Yeah. George, thanks.
No more week zeros. We got rid of that years ago. I hate week 0.
Same here.
College does not. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, George Robinson from the Tennessean. Let me kind of tell you a little bit real quickly about what we're going to do for the rest of the show. Billy will have some stars to watch tonight on the high school level, and then Holly Taylor from Star Physical Therapy will join us. Maybe not as tough an update as normal because for an opening weekend, the temperatures are going to be about as good as you could possibly get in late August. In the 4 o'clock hour, we will get a live update from Terry McCormick. His daily Titans update will come from Nissan Stadium. We'll update you on what's going on in the world of sports, and then we'll get down and dirty on the SEC's decision that broke yesterday right in the middle of our show. They're going to 9 conference games a year from now. Nobody should be shocked. The question to me is, will any of the coaches yell about it? I think the answer is no, and my guess is they're under a gag order. This is 94.9, The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
A golf cart from Mikey's Motors is the perfect way to get around this summer. Whether you're going to the park, the pool, or the playground, do it in a brand new golf cart from Mikey's Motors, Franklin and Murfreesboro.
Summertime fun in Tennessee. That's what we sell at Mikey's Motors. Come see how we roll.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun. Here's Officer Garen Hoskins for the Metro Nashville Police Department.
The Metro Nashville Police Department is on the forefront of policing in this century, and I'm glad I'm a part of it. I'm glad I get to find other good officers, other future good officers. And if you're watching today, or you yourself or someone you happen to know is interested, join MNPD.com. Feel free to reach out to us because we need good officers, and it's a great city to work for.
Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall is the new home for our Football Night in Nashville promotion. Their food is terrific. Their TV setup looks like a racing sports book in Vegas. And if you're a sports fan, you can't beat it. Starting September the 4th, we'll broadcast from Sports and Social every Thursday night. There's Pop-A-Shot, great football, and the chance to win a beautiful Mikey's Motors golf cart. See you at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall. Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com.
Bank anywhere, anytime with Wilson Bank and Trust. Open an account online today and manage your money with ease. Whether you're checking balances, depositing checks, or paying bills, with our secure digital banking solutions, your finances are always at your fingertips. Get started at wilsonbank.com. Wilson Bank and Trust, here to get you there. Member FDIC.
Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com.
Tonight, your Nashville Sounds continue their 6-game series against Louisville at First Horizon Park. Pre-game at 6:20.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan and the Game Nashville app. It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Welcome back into our Football Friday coverage. In a couple of minutes, when Holly Taylor does join us from Star Physical Therapy, there had been years where this opening broadcast that we would do, you'd have temperatures in the mid to upper 90s at this point, and you know the kind of trouble that brings. Well, this year, not quite that way. It's 87 degrees at the moment. By the time the games kick off tonight, 83 degrees, and by the time they're over, about 78. Billy, these kids have lucked out.
They have. And I mean, the first few days, like the last few days have been not too bad. Everybody's lucked out, not just, the high schoolers and the coaches and the fans tonight. But I was telling somebody, during the break, this is typically the one day, and maybe week 2, where, it's into the 90s, 95, it's humid, and you don't have a whole lot of people showing up early. They get here at, 6:50 and roll in.
6:58.
Yeah. So no, everybody lucked out today.
So you brought up earlier, and it really got my attention, how many kids in Nashville, Middle Tennessee high school football have already committed to schools. I heard Southern Miss a few minutes ago for the young man from MBA. I'm going to drive right by that campus on Sunday. So anyway, you've got stars to watch tonight. Lay it on me.
Yeah, I'm going to start with Jared Curtis. We talked about him a lot there with George Robinson, Nashville Christian quarterback. Big kid, 6'4", 225 pounds, Georgia commit. He's the number 2 player nationally, according to 24/7 Sports. He's the reigning Division II Mr. Football and Gatorade Tennessee Player of the Year. Last season finished with 179 of 255 passing for 2,830 yards and 40 touchdowns.
Good Lord.
He led Nashville Christian to the state title. So he is obviously a player to watch. We've talked a lot about him. And as well as another quarterback at Ravenwood, Femi Babalola, 6'3", 215, senior. He's committed to Boston College. 3-star prospect, had a solid year last year, passed for over 1,200 yards, 11 touchdowns as a junior. Committed to BC over other offers from NC State, Maryland, Georgia Tech, and Tulane. Ravenwood travels down to Mississippi to face Madison Ridgeland Academy tonight. So you get to get a good look at Femi Babalola there down in Mississippi, but he is a quarterback to watch. Certainly a couple of skill positions.
Have you seen either of these kids live?
No,
I've seen Jared Curtis live. I've seen all of him I want to see.
He tore into BGA.
He did. BGA was lucky to hold on and win. It was like 35-28 last year. I want to say like in week 4.
Yeah.
I saw all of him I needed to see.
He's a physical kid.
Yeah.
Strong arm. And, there's some Matthew Stafford in him. And of course, he's headed to Georgia. But Babalola, more of a mobile guy, can throw it well, but is another big physical prospect to watch out for. Couple of skill guys I want to talk about. I know we got Holly Taylor from Star Physical Therapy coming up. Craig Tutt, Oakland running back, probably one of the better names. Craig Tutt. That's a football name.
That sounds like a fullback.
It really does. But he's a speedy running back, 6 foot, 190-pound junior. The Class 6A Mr. Football finalist, totaled 1,649 yards and 21 touchdowns during Oakland's state title run last year. He's committed to Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss over offers from Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia. So that's yet another talent at Oakland. And then lastly, Keyshawn Bowman from Brentwood Academy, really good receiver over there at BA, 6 foot, 174-pound junior. He's a 5-star as well. Number 1 player in the state and he recently committed to Oregon over offers from Tennessee, Auburn, Georgia, and Oklahoma. The Eagles face James Lawson High School tonight as well. So couple of really talented. Every year these players to watch, I get more impressed. And I know I say this a lot, but it's true, and it's rapidly getting better too.
Oh, there's no question. In the old days, you would hear one or two names. Now they're a bunch.
Oh, they're everywhere. Yeah, I mean, Oakland. George has mentioned the rich get richer. They've got talent everywhere. But now, Whitehaven and all across the state, you've got talent everywhere.
Star Physical Therapy and my buddy Kelly Ziegler, the former University of Tennessee linebacker, they sponsor what is essentially a health update, but it's health around football. Holly Taylor has gotten stuck doing this for 2 years, and either is a glutton for punishment or who knows why she agreed to do this again. Holly, it's great to talk to you.
You as well. How are y'all doing?
Good. So the drill. Every year, we're sitting here at 94 degrees at this time, and we're talking all this heat stuff. Well, for week one, these kids have gotten a huge break. I brought up the temperatures a minute ago. 87 at the moment. Game time around 83, upper 70s by the end. So they made off like bandits this time.
They did, as far as the temperature goes. And it looks even into this next week, we're going to have that cold front's going to stick around for a little bit.
So if it were in the 90s, because ultimately in the next 2-3 weeks, Mother Nature will wreak havoc and we will have one of those 90s nights. What are some tips, not only for these youngsters playing, but for the parents having to put up with it?
Right. I think your big ones are going to be, making sure the kids are staying hydrated. Make sure they're getting that good nutrition in there, because a lot of that fuel comes from that. And another big one is getting enough sleep. It's amazing how a lack of sleep can really change the dynamics in your body and how you can handle stress.
Talk to me a little bit more about that, because, we all wake up, in the middle of the night on certain nights and you can't get back to sleep. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. Setting parameters for yourself in terms of, setting a bedtime where it's usually the same every night. Try to wake up at the same time. Try to get into some kind of rhythm and where you are getting what you need. You could think growing teenagers, they're supposed to get anywhere between 8 to 10 hours of sleep a night, which we know is just not happening. Right? It's just not happening. Right? They want to stay on their phones till midnight, and then they have got to get up at 4 or 5 to go to school. So that, along with eating right and staying hydrated, and even though the temperatures are going to be a little lower tonight, something you got to take into consideration is the humidity tonight. When that humidity is high, your body, the sweat does not absorb as well, and that's where you can kind of get into having the cramping tonight. So I wouldn't be surprised, most people tonight, they're going to probably see a lot of kids with leg cramps tonight.
Okay, so let's get to that. We'll end it on that, because that's the thing you see a lot. You're going to see it tomorrow in the college football games, in week 0 on the college level.
Fourth quarters.
Oh, absolutely. Or earlier.
Yeah.
So what's the rule of thumb when a player has that happen? Because is it simply too late to expect to be able to go back into a game for any length of time?
It really depends on the kid and the severity of it. Sometimes you can throw a little ice on there, massage, give them some mustard or something of the sort like that to kind of kickstart your system, kind of keep going. But, whether it's college or high school, the practice that you've done is never going to simulate a full game. And so that musculature still just hasn't built up yet to sustain a whole game. And so fatigue is going to be a big factor in some of those cramping, not just the nutrition or lack of electrolytes. It's kind of a big combination of things.
Did you say mustard?
Oh, absolutely.
I'd never heard that before.
Oh yeah, mustard, pickle juice, something with that high salt, vinegar content, hot sauce. It all can work in a short-term way.
So if you were cramping, you'd deny the mustard.
Oh, I just had never heard that.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to keep a bottle of mustard on the sidelines during football season. Just squirt it right in their mouths.
And normally I do it with a hot dog.
Right?
Holly, thank you as always. My guess is we'll have to get back into the heat stuff in a week or two.
Probably.
Thank you as always. Tell Kelly Ziegler to behave.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good night.
You too. She's good. Holly
Yeah.
Taylor, Star Physical Therapy, the official health of Football Friday.
Yeah.
How about that?
It was interesting to sleep too.
Yeah.
With the phones and you talk about stay hydrated for these kids. That's another thing that a lot of people forget about. And I'm glad she mentioned that because, you look at these kids that, through the summer, they may go to summer camps, but they don't have to wake up and go to class at whatever 6 a.m. Most classes, I think, at high school level start at 7. Summer, they're used to staying up, and then boom, week 1 and 2 and 3 hits. You got to start getting up earlier. So that's probably something to keep an eye on as well.
Okay, Football Friday is done. When we come back, we'll have a quick stat of the day, likely to bomb. And then Terry McCormick with a live update from Nissan Stadium. The Minnesota Vikings are in town for the final preseason game. And we say goodbye to preseason and thank God it'll be over. This is 94.9 The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
This is my buddy Stan Harrison from Apple Collision Centers. Recently, you've been talking to me about companies that have a fleet of trucks and they're always in need of repairs.
That's right, George. We understand that nobody likes to deal with the auto body repair process. We try to simplify that at our 3 convenient locations. We work with all major insurance companies. We help to ease the stress of the auto body repair process. We're located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. If you need our services, please stop by and see us.
And how convenient that we have that in the background. Now, seriously, these are good folks. They do really good work. Give them a holler.
ESPN Radio lives here. Your sports live here on ESPN 94.9 The Fan.
Sports and Social at Green Hills Mall is the new home for our Football Night in Nashville promotion. Their food is terrific. Their TV setup looks like a race and sports book in Vegas. And if you're a sports fan, you can't beat it. Starting September the 4th, we'll broadcast from Sports and Social every Thursday night. There's Pop-A-Shot, great football, and the chance to win a beautiful Mikey's Motors golf cart. See you at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall. Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com. The George Plaster Show gets advertisers the results they're looking for. For example, here's Metro Nashville Police Officer Garen Hoskins.
You hear me all the time on the show talk about changes in career, people looking to serve their community and get into law enforcement and join a great department. And I just so happened to meet an individual who heard my segment on your show, has already applied, has come from multiple different career paths, and has always had this dream. and we're very glad to have them. That's just going to be the start of many.
If you want to be part of the Plaster Show advertising family, it's simple. Just email me, plastergeorge@gmail.com. Again, plastergeorge@gmail.com. We will fit your budget and your needs.
A lot of people want to define teams by singular performances.
Sports. Did he not go back into the game after that interception?
Let's get this turned around. And we're all saying, no, they don't.
Here.
You thought you were on your way.
Your sports live here.
On ESPN 94.9.
And the Game Nashville Sports Network. It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Talking Titans and Vikings with Terry McCormick coming up next. But first, stat of the day brought to you by Apple Collision Centers. You can find them in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. Give them a call, 615-754-9800, or log on to their website. That's applecollisioncenters.com. All right, we are going with some college football for today's question. Here we go. We're getting another college football game in Ireland tomorrow, 11 a.m., Iowa State, Kansas State. Can you name either team to play in the first ever Ireland game back in 1989?
Oh, good Lord.
A little hint, one plays in the ACC.
Yes.
The other in the American Conference. Thank you.
Okay, so in the ACC, I'm going to say it was North Carolina. In the American, you got schools like Temple, UConn. I'm going to go North Carolina and UConn and hope for one out of two.
It is Boston College and Army.
It's a dumb question.
You'll have really struggled with these.
Oh, you would have gotten this?
I'm just stating a fact. That's not my role.
That's 36 years ago.
I mean,
who do you think is going to remember that?
That's a fair point. That's a fair counterpoint.
It's not a fair point. It is the point. Good Lord.
My role is to state facts and add analysis to
you don't know what your role is when it comes to this. Learn how to be a commissioner. Okay, so BC Army was the first Dublin, Ireland game. There apparently was a big gap between the first one and where they went from there.
Boy, if they played now, could you imagine looking forward to a BC Army game tomorrow?
Probably not. They've got a great game.
Probably the best one they've had in a while.
Kansas State, Iowa State could be a preview of a Big 12 title game.
It's got huge implications.
It's ridiculous that in August, the team that loses that game is hurting a little bit.
Yeah.
Terry McCormick joins us with his daily Titans update. He joins us by phone from Nissan Stadium, where the Titans take on the Minnesota Vikings tonight. Terry, is there news we can use?
Well, there are a few guys that are not going to play, kind of some of the usual suspects. Calvin Ridley, who missed a couple of days of practice. Also, J.C. Latham, who missed a couple of days of practice, won't suit up tonight, according to what's been out there. And I think, we all know that the guys who've been nicked up a little bit, like Tavondre Sweat, Kevin Winston, L'Jarius Sneed, Lloyd Cushenberry, they're not going to be out there. The thing that would concern me if I'm the Titans is that obviously we know Cushenberry's been out for a while and just now getting back, but not having Zeitler puts a second string right guard out there. Not having Latham puts a second string right tackle out there. So if you include Corey Levin, who has gotten pretty much all the reps at center throughout camp, you're talking about 3/5 of the line not being first teamers in terms of the guys that you would project and want to be out there. So it's a little bit of a concern. Do you want to put Cam Ward behind that line? And if you do, how long do you want to go with that? It's, could lend itself back to some of the way it looked last year, possibly, with the patchwork offensive line and quarterbacks running for their lives.
So, Terry, essentially you've got two rookies quarterbacking these teams. Cam Ward on a unit that nobody thinks is going anywhere. J.J. McCarthy from Michigan, because of injury, this is his first stuff with the Vikings. How long do you think both of them play tonight?
Serious. I've not heard about McCarthy. I don't know if they're going to play any of their starters or not. It could be that we see a whole lot of Sam Howell and a whole lot of Max Brosner, I think, is the rookie that they brought in to compete in camp. Titans, I think Ward probably played somewhere between 1 and 3 series, depending on how it goes.
Okay. Anything else you
By
want?
the way, J.J. McCarthy's not playing at all.
Not playing at all.
Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah, I didn't think the Vikings were playing any starters.
Yeah. So they could care less.
Right.
It's the third preseason game.
Right. It's the future bartenders of America.
Excuse me?
The future bartenders of America.
Kelly didn't like that joke.
I don't, I'm not worried about what Kelly
You don't
thinks.
particularly care.
No, I really don't. Barry, so when this is over tonight, do you feel like you can identify where the Titans front office is going on the waiver wire?
Yeah, I think you'll be able to get an idea. I mean, I think they're just looking for overall upgrades at a lot of positions. But I think if there's an edge rusher, if there's a corner, if there's an offensive lineman out there that they like, I think those are specific areas. And in general, just guys who can help upgrade the special teams units. I think that'd be probably a starting point as to where they would look. And I think they're going to claim several guys. I know I've said 4 to 6, and I think you even top that. I think you're more in the 8 to 10 range, aren't you, George?
I am. I have no proof of it, no reason to throw that out there. But when I look at this team, they got a bunch of needs.
No, there's no doubt about that. And I think that, really part of what you want to see out of the Titans tonight is, one, can they escape this without any injuries? And 2, can they look like some semblance of a football team, which, they struggled to do at times last year, just with the personnel that they put out there on the field at times. So I think you want to see that it looks like an NFL operation when you put especially the first unit out there, to see if they can get through drives, without any penalties, without any turnovers, and, really maybe see somebody step up and make a play or two and, give Cam Ward something to kind of hang his hat on.
Games on national TV in prime time. This will be the only time this year that we will say that about the Titans. Terry, have a good weekend. Check back with you on Monday.
All right. Sounds good. See you.
That's Terry McCormick, Main Street Media, TitanInsider.com. Billy, go to your update. I got a little work to do. I'll be back shortly.
Okay, it's time for the update brought to you by Football Night in Nashville. Kicks off Thursday, September the 4th at Sports and Social out in Green Hills. Eagles and Cowboys kicks it all off September the 4th. Again, come join us out at Sports and Social in Green Hills. All right, first order of business today is an interesting piece out of Knoxville. Tennessee has announced a school record of $169 million raised by their Tennessee Fund, which is the highest year of athletics fundraising in school history. The previous record was $139 million, set back in 2024. And since Danny White arrived at Tennessee back in 2021, the Tennessee Fund has grown by more than $133 million. So obviously, Danny White continues his fundraising efforts. And there's obviously so much going on at Tennessee right now, but what he has done truly has been impressive. So a school record, $169 million raised by the Tennessee Fund. Staying in the SEC for this next piece, Alabama running back Jam Miller is expected to be back for the Tide's SEC opener against Georgia. I heard his shoulder actually dislocated his collarbone in their scrimmage last weekend and will miss the opener at Florida State next Saturday and doubtful to play in the next 2 games against Louisiana Monroe and Wisconsin. But lucky for the Tide, they have a bye week before they travel to Georgia. So that is obviously something to watch if you're an SEC fan, more particularly an Alabama fan as well. That's good news for the Tide. All right, the 9-game SEC schedule obviously was released last night, and according to a report, this decision further solidifies Notre Dame's status as an independent school. And of course, with this move, it'll require the SEC to schedule at least one ACC team, one Big Ten team, or one Big 12 team every season, and Notre Dame is included in that group. So Fighting Irish won't be left out, in their future series with Alabama, Texas, and Florida will move forward as planned with more room for more SEC teams on their schedule. So who knows? Maybe we see a Notre Dame-Alabama series pop up in the next few years. I'd love to see that personally. Notre Dame, Florida. That'll be interesting. Obviously, Notre Dame, Texas. There's all kind of different possibilities. Selfishly, I think having Clark Lee face off against Marcus Freeman, that'd be a really fun series. Notre Dame and Vandy as well. So this solidifies Notre Dame and their status as an independent. Last night's move to 9 conference games in the SEC. ESPN's Heather Dinich reported that this decision by the SEC helps Notre Dame, obviously, as an independent, but also keeps them committed with a TV partner, of course, with NBC, and a path to the playoffs. So those have always been the keys to independence for the Irish. So insert a George Catholicism moment joke at that point. Also in baseball, we saw Craig Kimbrell make a short stint with the Braves earlier this season. Well, that didn't last long, and he's actually been with the Rangers AAA team. He has agreed to a major league deal, not a minor league deal, a major league deal with the Astros. And this move adds a fresh arm to the Astros' struggling bullpen as they try to hold on to their lead in the AL West. Kimbrell's 37 years old, so he's getting up there in age. Probably doesn't have a whole lot of more baseball left in him, but he will be joining his 9th different team of his career and 2nd this season after throwing just one inning for the Atlanta Braves. I don't even know, and I talked about this with George a few weeks back when this, well, I guess a couple of months back now when that happened. Why do you even call him up? I don't understand that. Why you even call him up? But he had spent the past couple of months, as I said, with the Rangers AAA team. So piece of baseball news there for you. I want to go back real quick to college football. Apparently the NCAA said yesterday that they are deeply concerned about the lack of guardrails for the online prediction markets that are challenging betting industry norms after financial company Robinhood began allowing trades on college football. And George is back with us. George, I got to a couple of pieces there.
Yeah.
Danny White back in the news with Tennessee. I don't think that's as important to get to as the SEC scheduling decision. I know we're going to talk a ton more about this next segment, but an interesting point from Heather Dinich last night of ESPN, this decision further solidifies Notre Dame's status as an independent school. So this is a move that Notre Dame was sort of waiting on and going, yep, okay, we're staying where we are, and this even helps us schedule more series down the road with other SEC teams.
Which is interesting because I've always thought Notre Dame was going to get forced out of independent status, but good for them if they can make it work. Let me also say this on this on the gambling site thing. The prop bets on things like the first pitch of an inning, which all of a sudden has Emmanuel Clase, one of the great closers in baseball, in
hot water,
in big time hot water, to the point where you wonder what his future is. I think there's going to end up being a pressure on these companies to bag this. I really do.
Well, what I was getting at is this new company called Robinhood. They announced earlier this week that they're launching markets on the outcomes of professional and college football games this season. They said in a release that it will allow customers to trade on the outcomes of every NFL game and every college game involving schools from the Power Four conferences and independents. A market on the winner of Saturday's Iowa State-Kansas State game, of course, tomorrow, was open for trading last night. So I didn't know about this, but the NCAA all of a sudden concerned by this.
Yeah, well, you know what? That horse has gotten way out of the barn.
Yeah.
I mean,
but you make a
that's
good
like
point when
saying you're worried about the train and it's already past where you are. I mean,
you make a good point on these leagues when they allow these sponsorships and partnerships with a FanDuel, a BetMGM, and then something like this pops up where they're concerned about it.
It's two-faced.
Well, why do you partner with them?
Yeah, it's two-faced.
So,
it just simply is.
Also in the NFL, former Cowboys and Patriots running back Zeke Elliott has decided to retire.
I've never seen an athlete go from the top of his profession to
not really much of anything,
being marginalized quite like Zeke. Ezekiel Elliott, man, when he lost it, he
really lost it. Yeah.
No kidding. Okay. Have you gotten to the Kimbrel story?
I have hit that earlier. He's good for him. He's got not a minor league deal, a major league deal with the Astros.
I'm embarrassed by the treatment he got by the Braves. Alex Anthopoulos should be ashamed of the treatment he gave Craig Kimbrel. And Craig Kimbrel probably will be a Hall of Famer at some point. He's one of the top 5 save leaders of all time. It doesn't feel like he's got much left, but to call him up, have him pitch 1 inning, and then release him is horse manure.
Why do you even call him up?
I don't get it. I don't understand it. I was
And did
stunned.
they honor him in any way on the scoreboard? Or
No, but they made a big to-do. They were on the road. They made a big to-do in social media that he was coming back.
But I'm trying to make sense of that, because why? I could see if it was maybe a home series, but he pitched 1 inning and it was on the road. So something had to have happened. There had to have been a conversation, or something, because have you ever seen that?
No, I'm told the conversation after the game between Brian Snitker and him, because Snitker got stuck giving him the news, and Kimbrel loves Snitker. Played for him in Mississippi. Anyway, I know we're getting a little too deep in the weeds. After the break, we're going to get into this SEC decision and talk about it a bunch. This is 94.9 The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
A golf cart from Mikey's Motors is the perfect way to get around this summer. Whether you're going to the park, the pool, or the playground, do it in a brand new golf cart from Mikey's Motors, Franklin and Murfreesboro.
Summertime fun in Tennessee. That's what we sell at Mikey's Motors. Come see how we roll.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me. The Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
Convenience and value. two words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you know what? You need to contact the folks at Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, pancoastbenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400. Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com.
The Fan, a Cromwell media station.
30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. It's the George Plaster Show, featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famers Kelly Holcomb and young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Well, we were on the air yesterday when this story broke. As we welcome all of you back, we are at Father Ryan High School. First week of the high school football season. They play Overton tonight at 7 o'clock. The weather's going to be good all over the place. So if you get a chance, get out and support whatever high school team you want to, because ultimately these are going to be the college stars of the future. So when we were, knee deep into underdog picks, the SEC made official what everybody has suspected for a while, and that is they were going to a 9-game SEC conference play next season in football, which means in a 12-game schedule, 9 conference games, 3 non-conference. And so there are a variety of different things to talk about. And I'm going to come from a very cynical angle with it. I believe in May that Greg Sankey got surprised by how strongly the coaches went off about it, saying, we don't want this. And I think he got forced. They probably had a press release already written to announce that they were going to 9. And I think at some point, Billy, as he heard all the complaining from the coaches, he made a decision, okay, if I'm going to get this done, the coaches can't be in the room. It's simply the athletic directors. They met this week in Birmingham. The coaches probably think it was a little sneaky, and I don't think Sankey really cares.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I'm trying to plug in this laptop. Look, this is an athletic director move here. Because of the meeting in Birmingham, this was able to happen. I mean, without and like you said, the gag order. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's true with these coaches.
Yeah. So what are the ramifications here? The victory for Sankey and the league, if you want to call it that, is that ESPN had made it known that, look, if you'll do that 9th game, That's one more week where we don't have to show Alabama, UTC, Auburn versus poor old tired UL Monroe. It's one less week of that. But what hasn't come out yet is, okay, Sankey had to tell those ADs some sort of number. If you'll do this and approve it, this is what's going to come into the coffers. So far, we haven't heard that number.
Number in terms of
what's ESPN ponying up that would have the athletic director say, "Oh, absolutely."
I'm sure it was a lot.
I'm sure it was a lot too, but it hadn't gotten out yet.
Well,
which makes me wonder.
Well, because 2026, that, you know, I don't think this timing is a coincidence.
No, I think it was done to keep the coaches out of the room.
Exactly.
They're busy
this is
getting
a week
their
before week one, but we're not going to get the TV contract details until probably right before SEC Media Days next week.
Yeah,
or
but
not next
but
week.
Wouldn't
next
he
year.
have had to have given those ADs some ballpark figure?
Oh yeah, I'm saying make public though. You know, we're not gonna. You're good. That's a good point about it. It's probably going to get leaked here soon. That number.
Yeah.
I mean, we know this year what ESPN has going on with
For
the SEC,
instance,
but
is it $5 million extra per school?
Could be.
Don't know. Now, the good out of this appears to be that, look, the Alabamas and the Georgias and the LSU, the upper tier of the conference is going to be just fine. But the bottom part of the conference, the Kentuckys, the Vandys, the Mississippi States, who want to become bowl eligible, and let's face it, when those schools are bowl eligible, now Kentucky has broken through that a lot more than the other two. But when those schools are bowl eligible and they end up going to a bowl, it's a successful football season. In Vandy's case, the chances of them being bowl eligible, I think, just went down considerably.
yeah, a little bit. I think specifically Kentucky. I mean, I'm interested.
No, I think specifically Vandy. Kentucky's had a string up until a year ago of a bunch of bowl games in a row.
Yeah, but they struggled last year.
Yeah, they struggled last year, but Vandy struggled for 40 years. I mean,
we know that.
Yeah, but
I'm
saying that's where there's some hurt.
Yeah, but you got to go out and play the games. I mean, Mike Elko came out a couple of days ago and said, "Look, I don't care who we play or where we play them. Drop the ball. We're going to play football."
It's a little easier said in a 100,000 seat
Right.
stadium with a bunch of J.R. Ewing wannabes. All I'm saying is there is this flip side of this problem is that the bottom half of the conference may have less teams get to bowls because of it.
Yeah, and again, this is another move closer to the power conference or whatever. What were we calling it? The super conference. This is another move closer to that. But what a lot of people are talking about is the three permanent opponents with this. Who's the three permanent opponents? Obviously, for Alabama, you're looking at definitely Auburn and Tennessee, and probably LSU. You know, who knows? These have not been made official. Everybody's trying to, guess what these three permanent opponents are going to be for each team.
But I would assume the league had to tell the schools that, didn't they?
Tell them they're three permanent opponents?
Yeah.
I would guess that they know by now. Yeah. And this is probably going to get leaked officially here in the next week or so, I would guess.
Oh, I think there's going to be a lot of leaking.
Yeah. Well, because like you said, these ADs know, these ADs and these coaches have agents and, they want certain things out for certain reasons. But with Vandy, I'm looking at Tennessee and who else? Because that's big for Vandy. They're going to get 6 other opponents either way. Those are going to rotate, though. So, but your 3 permanent opponents, are pretty important for
there
a school.
was a
like
day and time where Alabama would have been that.
For Vandy?
Yeah. I mean, if you go back 15 years ago,
When there were 10
Alabama
teams
was
in the league?
always on Vandy's schedule. Yeah. So who knows? Now, here's the one that I am convinced I'm right about. Kelly brought it up yesterday. What does this do to the SEC football title game? I believe that what it does is set up. I think it sets up 2 games, and I think whoever the partner is will love it because it could create 2 different scenarios. It could create a Saturday of championship week doubleheader, a 3 p.m. and a 7 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it also could be one site where you charge ticket holders a wad, but it also could move Nashville into hosting SEC football title stuff. The way I think it is going to go, I think we're going to know who 1, 2, and probably 3 are in both the SEC and the Big Ten.
1, 2, and 3.
Who are teams 1, 2, and 3 that are going to get in the playoff?
Oh, yeah.
But then you got sitting on the fence post some teams
That
in
fourth and
positions
fifth
4,
team.
5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
So look, it could be 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5. It could also be 4, 7, 5, 6 in a newly put together SEC football title game.
Or do they just go to a 16-team playoff and basically, because what you're talking about, those would be playing games for the playoff? No.
It would feel that way,
in a
yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I don't think you would do that. You wouldn't have that and then, the loser of that game still gets in, or you see what I'm saying? With that almost feels like a play-in game for the playoff.
The loser goes to the Tony and Susan Alamo Bowl.
Yes, the Poulan Weed Eaters Bowl. But the thing with that is I feel like they either go with, and that's a good point from Kelly, they either go with that or just go to the 16 and expand, or 18, whatever the next, because there's going to be another expansion.
See, I don't think these leagues are willing to give up the kind of money that they're making off that game. I'm guessing that that's a $10 million gate in Atlanta, for instance, SEC football title game, because that's not a cheap ticket. So let's say it's somewhere between a $10 and $15 million gate. Each school's getting $1 million, $1.2 million, $1.3 million. It's kind of like a bowl game payout.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to give it up. I think they're going to look for new ways to skin the cat.
I'm with you. I think that's going to force this 9 game again. It's going to force not only other teams to basically look at, okay, like a Kentucky or a Vandy or even a Mississippi State. Do we want to continue treating football as our number one source of revenue? Because for Kentucky basketball, they are the number one source of revenue.
Yeah, but that's such an outlier. I mean,
But
Kentucky
Mississippi State,
is such a rare deal.
Can Mississippi State baseball make more than Mississippi State football?
I wouldn't think so. Now, I know Mississippi State baseball is a big deal, but I mean, that's 12, 13,000 a game, where a home football game is closer to 60.
Yeah. That's a good point on Kentucky. It's going to be interesting to see what's the next move now, because now we've got SEC going to 9. Obviously, we talked about how it affects Notre Dame. They're staying independent. This doesn't just affect the SEC teams.
No,
because the Big Ten is also sitting here going, okay,
I think
here
the
we go.
dominoes, first of all, I think Sankey had the incentive to tell the Big Ten to go stuff it, because they've been using you only play 8 conference games. Well, now they've eliminated that argument. And I think what you're going to see, Billy, in the next 4 to 6 weeks, rather than that December deadline that they've got, I think by early October, I think you'll know exactly what the new playoff model is.
I think you're right. And something else that's interesting with this is SEC teams are required now to play one out-of-conference high-quality game per season.
But that's so subjective. I mean, I hear the wording of it, but beauty to some, obscene to others.
Make an example. Stumped you.
UConn.
That's not a high-quality game.
Yeah, but they're a bowl team. Were they a bowl team a year ago? Yes. I mean,
I see what you're saying.
Who decides that?
A high-quality game. So, not UL Monroe, not the Citadel.
Right, but
I would assume UConn, and I was being facetious there a little bit.
Well, and I am too. I mean, do you have to clear this with
the Geneva
the
Convention?
King? I mean, I realize he holds the monetary thing, but what about when you get to
well, this is this is going to be funny because Ty commented, and who's ready for Georgia Northwestern? That's what you're going to get with these, where, Kirby or whoever, the AD, like, for example, Kalen DeBoer and Greg Byrne at Alabama, they say, okay, we got to go schedule a high-quality game here.
Well,
they're going to walk that line and go schedule Rutgers.
One way
or Cal.
One way that you could solve that particular issue is to create what's been done in basketball. And I don't know, I'm making stuff up here, clearly. But for the first week of the college football season, what if it was all SEC versus Big Ten? One year you get a home game, the next year you don't.
I'm with you. And look, these coaches can complain all they want, but the ADs and the commissioners are going to do what makes money.
Right. But
bottom line.
But the coaches are correct in what they're saying.
But listen.
And the fact that you're not hearing anything from them tells me there's a gag order. Pure and simple. Do you have some comments that you want to get to in this? Because it looks like
none of ultimate relevance. I mean, we got a couple people going back and forth.
Okay, well, give me a couple of them.
Oh, there's a lot. I mean,
okay.
I don't know how far back you want me to go.
Whatever is relevant to the discussion.
Somebody chimes in and says a 14-game schedule with 10 games in the league and 4 against the other league would make billions.
Well, here's the part that really gets hairy is because you're going to have some people start this yapping about put a 13th game out there. But the problem is in a 16-team playoff, you've got college teams that are now playing NFL schedules. You just do.
And what's wrong with that?
I think it's a little too far.
I disagree. I think these games against
you're
Charleston,
just sitting there watching it. But what about wear and tear on players safety?
It's the SEC. I mean,
well, I'm not saying just the SEC. I'm saying anywhere.
So you're including the American and what Conference USA with because this is going to be separate.
What I'm saying is that if you think for 1 minute any of the conversation about this has to do with player safety, it doesn't. 16 games is a lot on the college level.
Yeah.
We used to
think
11 was a lot.
I think because of that, you're going to see load management. Look at Penn State's schedule this year.
Right.
They have 2 games this season that are important. 2.
Well, now you think
Ohio
that
State and
in
Oregon.
August.
Right. But look at their schedule.
Right.
They have the chance. I'm not saying they're going to go, they're a lock to go 10-2, even though they are. They are in the spot where they can load manage. That's going to happen with these. But that's why the Big Ten has an advantage right now.
Give me a couple more that are out there.
Scott on YouTube, thoughts on Vandy beating Tennessee this year?
Well, this is Billy's concoction, not mine.
But you don't think Vandy has a chance?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, look, it's way too early. But your belief that they're going to Knoxville and win, I think's a little overblown.
But think about what has happened with Tennessee. I know they were in the playoff.
Right.
Nico leaves. We've talked all about it. We've talked about the Boo Carter situation.
Yeah, it doesn't look pretty right now.
No. And Joey Aguilar, I'm not saying he's chopped liver, but I don't think he's as talented, with his legs as Nico. Nico wasn't great. He wasn't elite last year.
Why don't
he also
you talk
wasn't
to Mac Brown about that? Because Joey Aguilar ripped up North Carolina when he was at App State.
I get that.
Okay.
I get that. And I'm not saying Tennessee's going to go 5-7 or 6-6, but they're not to last year's level.
Doesn't feel
they
like
lose
it.
Dylan Sampson.
Doesn't feel
they
like
lose
it.
a lot on the offensive line. And Vandy should be better. And again, Pavia.
I get where you're going. There's a lot of enthusiasm, but I've been around this block a few times, and if Diego Pavia gets hurt, doesn't play in that game, you have no chance.
And it's hard because it's so far out.
Yeah,
but
we're 3 months away.
What I'm saying is that when you look at what has happened in the offseason and you look at on paper both teams,
right?
Vanderbilt should be, I think, a 10-point underdog.
Okay, give me a couple more.
Let's see here. Heath, and this is what I was talking about yesterday. Let's do quad 1 wins, quad 2 wins like basketball. That's what they're not. I don't know if they're going to do the quad system or what, but they are beginning a computerized system.
That's a really interesting thought.
But why weren't they? You made a good point yesterday. Why haven't they been doing that?
They were too busy ordering room service. For something as important as the college football playoff to be crowing a year after the fact that suddenly you're going to get into strength of schedule. Hello, the toothpaste got out last December.
Sam on YouTube, some teams already have it built in for this one game quality opponent. South Carolina's got Clemson. Kentucky's got Louisville. Florida's got Florida State. Georgia's got Georgia Tech. That's a good point. But that may not be a good thing. Like for Louisville, for example. Like Kentucky's a little down right now, so it's a good thing for them. Hold on. Louisville's not even an SEC team.
Hold on. What is the actual thing that Sankey is saying?
SEC teams are required to schedule at least one additional high-quality non-conference game from the ACC, Big Ten, or Big 12 conferences, or Notre Dame each season. That's what Sankey said. Or Notre Dame.
Huh. Isn't that special? Okay, after the break, just a few things to think about. By the way, let me also say this. I'll be on vacation next week, and you all can celebrate that. Billy will take over. Be a lot better show. But when I get back on the Tuesday after Labor Day, we will have a major broadcasting announcement to pass on. Now, the last time I put out this kind of bull, it was to announce the Sports and Social promotion, which at least in its first go-round, really successful. We'll do it again on September the 4th, the Thursday night of the week when I get back off vacation. But we will have a major broadcast announcement for you on Tuesday, September the 2nd. We'll go to the break, tail of the tape, and who knows what else coming up on 94.9 The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2025 season. Create a summer of memories at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, and more. Tickets are on sale now.
Sports and Social at Green Hills Mall is the new home for our Football Night in Nashville promotion. Their food is terrific. Their TV setup looks like a racing sports book in Vegas. And if you're a sports fan, you can't beat it. Starting September the 4th, we'll broadcast from Sports and Social every Thursday night. There's Pop-A-Shot, great football, and the chance to win a beautiful Mikey's Motors golf cart. See you at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall. Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com. Here's Officer Darren Hoskins for the Metro Nashville Police Department.
The Metro Nashville Police Department is on the forefront of policing in this century, and I'm glad I'm a part of it. I'm glad I get to find other good officers, other future good officers. And if you're watching today, or you yourself or someone you happen to know is interested, join MNPD.com. Feel free to reach out to us because we need good officers, and it's a great city to work for.
Or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, PanCoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, PanCoastBenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400. Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe, and Friday night, the lights are on. Join Coach Bubba Spears and me for the Nashville Metro Public Schools High School Football Game of the Week as McGavick heads to Maplewood. All of our coverage begins at 6 o'clock.
Your sports live here on 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville Sports Network. It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Vikings game tonight at Nissan Stadium sounds like it's going to be a future Bartenders of America convention. And ultimately, it's this kind of thing on national TV that is going to get the networks pissed off royally. It already happened Sunday night when the Bears blasted Buffalo 38-0 in a game where Buffalo didn't give a hoot. You got a feeling that that might be more of the same tonight with the Vikings, who it sounds like, according to Terry's report, aren't going to play anybody.
Yeah, how about that?
Thus, future Bartenders of America, because the cut down date is, I think, next Tuesday. So this tale of the tape is probably worthless It's probably more what the teams really are, and I probably need to change a few things here.
J.J. McCarthy's not playing.
Right. So he's not an intangible. Cam Ward probably is. So let's flip-flop that final score and make it 26-12 Titans.
Tighten up.
Tighten up.
Yeah, that'll be fun to watch tonight.
Well, I think what's going to end up happening, Billy, I've been on this kick now for a while. The networks are not going to pay out this kind of money to have people just give them a snooze bowl product.
My question is, why does it take so long for the NFL season to start?
Well,
I mean, Terry, who was it that mentioned the other day, we used to have 6 preseason games?
Right. Well, first of all, deep down, does anybody want to be playing Sunday at noon in 94-degree weather in August?
No.
Now,
that's fair.
And I don't know that they've thought about this. To me, if they're going to go to a deal where they go 18 regular season and maybe drop down to 1 preseason, which if I'm the players, that's all I would agree to. If I'm going to be forced into an 18th regular season game, then we're cutting out the shenanigans. 1 preseason game.
Right.
Okay. So you say, okay, you're adding an extra week to your regular season. Your Super Bowl is already now into mid-February. So when are you doing this? It appears the NFL would have to go back to the Sunday of Labor Day weekend. And they have kind of acted like that's some sort of a disease that they don't want to do. If you went late into August, you simply have to take a week and say that every game's at night.
Yeah, we got
5 o'clock, 8 o'clock, something like that. I mean,
we got Father Ryan baseball representing in here.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll see you, Coach. Love it.
Well, isn't that special? Billy's back home.
Yes.
Should we go to the break and then go plaster bets of the day?
We can do that.
Let's do that. And we'll do that in a moment by telling you I need some wins. And I've got 3 plays on the college level, and they better work. This is 94.9, The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
ESPN Radio lives here. Your sports live here on ESPN 94.9 The Fan.
Sports and Social at Green Hills Mall is the new home for our Football Night in Nashville promotion. Their food is terrific. Their TV setup looks like a race and sports book in Vegas. And if you're a sports fan, you can't beat it. Starting September the 4th, we'll broadcast from Sports and Social every Thursday night. There's Papa Shot, great football, and the chance to win a beautiful Mikey's Motors golf cart. See you at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall. The George Plaster Show gets advertisers the results they're looking for. For example, here's Metro Nashville Police Officer Garen Hoskins.
You hear me all the time on the show talk about changes in career, people looking to serve their community and get into law enforcement and join a great department. And I just so happened to meet an individual who heard my segment on your show, has already applied, has come from multiple different career paths, and has always had this dream. and we're very glad to have them. That's just going to be the start of many.
If you want to be part of the Plaster Show advertising family, it's simple. Just email me, plastergeorge@gmail.com. Again, plastergeorge@gmail.com. We will fit your budget and your needs. Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday. Two total screw-ups of humongous proportions.
Sports. We're not living in an era where perfection is necessary.
They thought they were a championship contending team.
Here, we told you not to do this. Your sports live here.
On ESPN 94.9.
And the Game Nashville Sports Network. It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
On a Football Friday, broadcasting live from Father Ryan High School. Beautiful day here in Berry Hill area. It's the Battle of Franklin Pike tonight. Father Ryan and Overton. Back in the day, these used to be played at Bellevue Middle. You've also had some games at Sulphur Dell, as Fred Strobel told us as well. I mean, Father Ryan played at Greer Stadium, but this was a game that was always packed.
Crazy. And back then, it was your grandfather, Bill Derrick, against Nick Koutras. And those were two of the best high school football coaches in this city. But we move on to depressing subjects.
That is Plaster Bet of the Day, brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law. Of course, we got the Titans tonight, a couple other preseason games. They should do a Week 0 Friday night game. That'd be something to watch. I mean, I'd rather watch that than preseason, but we do have some action this weekend. George, last night, another loss.
Yeah, it was disappointing. The Yankees didn't get it done at home. Good for the Red Sox. More and more, it looks like the Red Sox and the Yankees are going to play each other in an opening round, best 2 out of 3. I hope it's at Fenway. That would be really cool.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Okay. College football, 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. 2 teams out of the Big 12 who are really good are going at it in Dublin, Ireland. Avery Johnson, to me, will be the difference in the game. He's Kansas State's quarterback. This will not be easy, but Kansas State will win it probably by less than a touchdown, but hopefully by more than 3. I'm taking the Wildcats.
Don't sleep on Rocco Becht.
He's very good.
That's a good player. It's a good quarterback matchup.
Yeah, his dad's a former NFL offensive lineman.
Anthony Becht.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, game 2 is a battle of ACC going to Hawaii. Can you believe I'm saying that? Stanford in the ACC.
This reminds me of Vandy when they went out to Hawaii Week 0 and just pummeled them. I don't know that Stanford does that though.
No, Hawaii is a much better program now than that. Is Stanford good enough to win this game? I think they are. They got a new head football coach, and he's no stranger to the NFL. He's Frank Reich.
Yep.
And in the third quarter, yes, it becomes the third Reich.
You've said that.
I know it.
1,000 times.
I know. Pitiful. And the last one, we're going to take over in the Kansas game against Fresno State. This is sort of a dedication game of a
brand new stadium.
Well, or either that, I don't know if it's brand new or reconfigured.
No, it's brand new.
It's brand new.
Yeah.
Kansas will be ready to put a whipping on Fresno State. I say the game goes over.
A
Let's
lot of
hope
that.
it does.
A lot of that will be up to Jalen Daniels because I don't know how much Fresno is going to score.
Well, we'll find out tomorrow night. It all starts early with that 11 o'clock in the morning game. Want to thank the folks at Father Ryan for their hospitality. Mr. Strobel, thank you so much. I'll be off next week on vacation, if I do say so, a well-deserved vacation. And when we come back a week from Tuesday, the day after Labor Day, big broadcast announcement. You'll want to be a part of hearing about it. This is 94.9, The Fan.